Hello, hello, hello. It's March Madness week, so you know what that means. It's got to be a basketball theme episode of the Big D podcast. Before I bring in my special guest, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where you can see all our content. You can view my bracket when it's up in a little while. Also, check out the Big D podcast for all your audio feeds on Spotify and Apple. So I brought out the FGCU shirt today because the FGCU women's basketball team is once again representing the ASUN in March in the NCAA women's tournament, and I've got one of FGCU's best players for Karl Smesko. It's my friend DyTiesha Dunson. DD, how things going in DC?
Things are going great. It's a great city. It's a great place to be in. I'm upset that I'm not going to be back actually in DC until later that Friday, so I can't make the Maryland game, but things are going great.
Amtrak can't get you from Atlanta to DC fast enough, right?
No, my flight is after the game starts. So I'm like, I wanted to go to the game in Maryland. But when they win Friday, I'll definitely be there Sunday.
Yeah, I knew when the bracket was released that FGC was going to play at like 2:30 Friday afternoon. I'm like, oh, dang it. I already know what time we're going to play Friday. You already. So the teacher played under Coach Smesko from what, 2012 until 2016, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And during that time, you helped FGCU made a couple trips to the NCAA tournament. So
Mhm.
to teacher, talk about what brought you to FGCU in the front.
I think what brought me to FGCU was really just the winning aspect of the program. My dad had kind of, researched them, and he was like, "This is a great team. Like their winning percentage is crazy. They kind of win like every year. They have this girl who decommitted from Duke, who chose to come to FGCU and Whitney Knight. This would be a great fit for you. They shoot a lot of threes. And so, that kind of piqued my interest within FGCU. And after I did my official visit with them, I just kind of love Coach Smesko and the girls and like just the winning culture. And I wanted to be a part of a culture like that I knew that we were going to win and I was going to be pushed every day to become a better player.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like winning? I mean, we all like winning. And seemingly at FGCU, Cole Smith has done a great job of no matter who he gets, whether it be recruiting on the transfer portal now, FGCU is always winning.
They are.
So you mentioned how tough it is to play under Smesko. Yes, we know FGCU wins, but it's not always easy to play because his offense is so complicated because either it's three layups or threes, but it's
Yes.
not as easy as you would think it is.
No, it's not. Coach Smesko is very detail oriented, and I think coming in, all the players thought that they kind of had, they were kind of detail oriented with noticing the little things, and when they played, but Coach Smesko takes it to another level, and so it's just a steep learning curve with learning the offense, and not taking a good shot, but rather taking a great shot. And I think that's kind of the motto of his office. Offense is 3 pointers and layups, and those are great shots when they're open. And you typically get open when you actually run the offense. And so it's kind of hard as a freshman coming in, and you're playing against these older girls who've learned the system, and you're trying to learn everything. You're trying to get in shape. You're trying to do all these other things, and also balancing classes. And so it's a steep learning curve, but Coach Mesco, he works with you. You have upperclassmen and other players that take the time to actually work with you and help you learn the system. So it's just a great feeling. It's a great team, and I couldn't have made a better decision.
Now, I've talked to a couple women who played under Smesko, and I'm a runner, so Was there a particular walkout? I'm just saying, was there like a mile? Is there like a mile run that he makes his players run under a certain time?
Yes, yes, that's one of the conditions of getting in shape is making your mile time. And yeah, like that was, we had a couple girls at least in my class, we had a couple girls on our team who naturally just kind of like, ran long distances and could run long distances. And I wasn't one of those people. So I struggled with the mile every year. But finally my senior year, I made my mile time. But yeah, he has a a mile time that we have to meet in preseason.
What was your what was your senior mile time?
6:29, 6:30, one of those.
That beats me any day. I'm like in the high sevens, low eights.
That's what I want. That's what I would prefer to be. but but yeah, and you probably run longer distances other than a mile. So that's, the 7:30s and the eights, like that's preferable. When we had to run like a 3-mile run one time, obviously you probably want your first mile to be a longer distance, but every player has to go through it every year. You love to hate it, but it's just a part of the grind.
So if you think back to FGCU, when did you finally feel comfortable on campus?
On campus, I
Under
feel
with Smesko as your coach.
oh, I think I didn't really get comfortable until probably my second year. First year, I had surgery at the beginning of the season, and so I had went through preseason, did all the conditioning, and then I had, to stop abruptly to have surgery on my knee. And I came back like December, and so I was always kind of playing catch up. And so my sophomore year, I believe with, Jenna Cobb, she transferred over, and so that, I think that was my sophomore year because she was a junior. Yeah. So that year was kind of like when I started becoming comfortable because Jenna really kind of took me under her wing. Just kind of playing at another Division I school. She just really helped me a lot. And so I think that's the year that I kind of became comfortable with the offense and comfortable with the ball in my hands as a point guard.
Because you're the facilitator. Because I think of all the great teams in college basketball, and almost all of them have something in common: a good floor general. And for FGCU, guess who was that floor general?
Yeah, yeah.
So think of that 2013-2014 season. FGCU made the NCAA tournament, and you played Oklahoma State and West Lafayette, Indiana, and that was a crazy game. That was a tense game, and Oklahoma State won 61-60 in overtime. But in that game, you played 38 minutes with 4 assists and no turnovers. Just saying, your assist to turnover ratio that day was off the chart.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that game. I know I was so nervous. And I think the whole team was nervous. I know Stephanie Haas had a crazy game that day. Crazy game. Really helped us, battle back because I think we maybe gotten down a little bit, but she changed the momentum of that game. Stephanie with Jenna, I think Jenna hit a big 3. It was a tough game. But I think that, FGCU had went to the tournament, I think in 2012, like the year before I came, and they kind of lost. It was a close game and they lost, but that game was kind of like our first time actually just like our group just like being in that big moment. And I think we fought hard and we played well, but it was a lot of nerves within that game. And so the second year when we came back in 2015, I think, it was just like, let's play. Like, like we've been here before, we know what to do now. We're not as nervous. And so I believe that's one of the reasons why we won that game in 2015.
So next year in the NCAA tournament, you see same song, same verse. Guess who you played the next year in the NCAA tournament?
Oklahoma State.
Again.
Yes. I think the committee was just being funny at that point. We know it's going to be a great game, and so let's let them play again. I don't know what our seating was, but I think Oklahoma State was ranked lower that year, so they were making
FGCU was a 7 and 15. Oklahoma State was a 10 seed.
yeah 10 seed. Okay.
And in that game, trying to think of, I think that was the game where Atwater went off for 26 and Whitney Knight scored 19, and it was a little bit of payback with FGCU getting its first NCAA tournament win over Oklahoma State. So what do you remember about that game?
I just remember, I think that 2014-2015 year, we were just crazy good. Like everything clicked with that team. We were very fast. We had Kanisha running the floor, we had Jenna running the floor, we had Steph, we had Jamie. We also had Whit. If like they ran the floor, Whit would come back the trailer for the three. We just had all the pieces that year, and so what I remember about the game is us just being very fast paced, us getting on the floor and running and trying to turn turnovers into points. And so that's kind of what I remember. And I just remember the feeling of us always kind of being in control of that game and never doubting that we wouldn't win. So yeah, it was a great experience.
And I think it also helped you face the same team 2 years in a row because I mean, it wouldn't have been like a conference game, but it's like I know what this team's going to run, so we can say, okay, if this goes drives, go with Ferrell. If this goes a shooter, don't let him shoot. So you've got more familiarity than with a team that you haven't faced.
Yeah, we did have a little familiarity with them. I do believe, just playing them again, it calmed our nerves down because we knew we could win. We were like that close the year before. And they had, some new pieces to the team. It wasn't the same team, but we just had that confidence based on what we did the year before with them on our first, well, FGCU second, but my team's first like big tournament appearance. And so I think that just helped us.
So as you know, FGCU women's basketball is now FGCU. The men are known for Dunk City, but the women are known for reigning three. So what's with raining threes at FGCU?
Well, we shoot a lot of threes. and I think Coach Smesko recruits a lot of players that can now also make the threes. And if you can, he really works to develop your shot. And so it's, we either lead the country in 3-point attempts or we're up there with the top, teams with 3-point attempts. And so we shoot a lot of threes, make a lot of threes, and that provides us a lot of points. And so I think that kind of helps us with, just being so unguardable because everybody on the team can shoot threes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about FGCU's matchup in a little bit. This year's FGCU's 3-point squad, because the women play one of the first round's most interesting games because both teams shoot. But the next year you played in the WNIT because FGCU lost in the ASUN tournament. You made the WNIT championship game. I think you ended up playing like one of those famous South Dakota. So you ended up playing. Did you end up playing like that one we were building up north?
I think it was either South Dakota or South Dakota State, but I know that their colors are red and the other South Dakota team colors are like yellow and blue. And so whichever the red color is. But yeah, we played at their home arena, which was very packed with a lot of fans, a lot of South Dakota fans. And so it was a fun atmosphere. I wish we could have pulled it off, but just being in a championship game, nonetheless, that was a fun experience.
Yeah, and even though you didn't make the NCAA tournament, it was a nice consolation prize because a lot of that team was graduating because 2015-16 was the last year for you,
Mhm.
Atwater, Knight, Scoopaz,
Mhm.
Jamie. I think Taylor was still there because she was there for like 18
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Taylor was still there, even though she started with me. She had a couple injuries. Bethany, I think that was the last year for her as well. Um, it was at least 6 or 7 of us that left that year. That was our last year, and so yeah, it was a nice consolation, at least getting to the championship. We beat a lot of great teams on the way to the championship. A lot of big schools and big
Michigan.
conferences. Yeah, Michigan in big schools and big conferences, and I feel like that showed that we could at least had a got an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. But that's the issue with mid-majors. We don't get a lot of respect, but
I don't know what it is,
I
but
don't either.
I don't know what it is, but every single year it seems like FGCU is shafted because I look on selection Sunday or selection Monday, and I'm like, when are you going to get a single digit seed?
And I,
And
and I believe this year should be that.
and then I look at it afterward, I'm like, you're always an 11, 12, or 13 seed. I'm like, why do I even look at the brackets?
Yeah, because I think that what is that they're saying, like out of the 64 teams, FGCU's like the 48th or 44th team, like ranked team, and we were ranked in the coaches poll and the AP.
Now I know the AP polls are a little bit bogus because I don't think the committee looks at the AP polls, nor should they. But when
Mhm.
you watch FGCU play, they're better than the
Yeah,
42nd or 43rd team in the NCAA tournament.
yeah,
Anybody of basketball mind could see that.
yeah. No, yeah. This is a great team, and I thought that they should have been ranked higher. But I do believe that just looking at the tournament, they are their region. They're primed to get to the Sweet 16. If they follow Coach Smesko's game plan and make the shots that I know that they're capable of making, they're primed to make it. I do think it's going to be some tough games, and it's probably not going to be a blowout, but it's going to be some tough games. But I do believe that this is a great team like they have this year. Yeah, TK is a facilitator, but she's also a scorer. You have Bells who score, you have Spray, you got Emma. Like there's so many other players, and I've watched a couple of the games. I haven't watched every game this season, but I've watched a couple of their games, and I just know that everybody's producing, and like teams may try to like not guard certain players, but they can hit shots. Everybody on the team can hit shots, and so it's going to be an issue if we're making our shots.
Well, if you think of raining threes, making shots, I'm not sure there's a better first round matchup than FGCU against Virginia Tech
Mhm.
because Virginia Tech made 275 3-pointers during the regular season. But guess which team led America for seemingly like the 95th straight year with 367 made triples?
FGCU.
You would be correct. So there will be a ton of threes. Steph Curry won't have anything on these two teams.
I do think that works in our advantage. I'll admit I haven't watched Virginia Tech. I've saw that on
Neither have
Twitter
I.
that they shoot and make a lot of threes. But I think that works in our advantage because I think one of the issues that FGCU has, year after year, and we find a ways to work around it. It's like our height issue and guarding post players,
A
and
lack of height.
yeah, lack of height and guarding their post players, the opposing team's post players. But you have a team that shoots a lot of threes and getting up. You're just making our guards guard, and that kind of works in our advantages. In practice, everybody's guarding. We're guarding each other every day in practice, regarding the 3-point line. And so, I think it might help to kind of play a team that shoots a lot of threes, and as long as we're running them off the line and limiting the amount of threes and shots that they make, I think we're good.
I mean, just FGCU can't be outlead by like 15. FGCU's even on the board. I think the Eagles have got a chance. The FGCU just can't get pounded on the glass on Friday,
Right.
which
Yeah.
may be a problem because Virginia Tech's going to be bigger. I mean, a lot of teams are going to be bigger than FGCU.
Yeah. I mean, I think, a lot of teams are bigger than us, always. And a lot of times we do get out rebounded, but it's about limiting that, how much we get out rebounded. And I think that's the key. Like we're used to games like this. We're used to opponents like this. We have some weaknesses, but we know how to, maximize our strengths that covers those weaknesses. And Coach Smesko does a great job at that. And so I'm honestly not worried. I think as long as we're making our shots and taking good shots, we're going to win.
So, you know me, I'm a trivia person. I love trivia. I want to test out your knowledge.
Oh Lord, it's gonna be bad.
The FGCU is the 12th seed in the NCAA Women's Tournament.
Mhm.
What happened the last time FGCU was the 12th seed in March Madness?
I think we won a game. I don't know.
Yes, FGCU beat Missouri 80-70, 2018.
Oh yes, we did win that game. I remember that. Yes.
And this
Then
year,
they lost to Miami, right?
Stanford.
Oh, Stanford. Okay.
Don't remind me of those trips to Miami. I was at the 2017 game and I wanted to throw up at the end of it
Oh gosh.
because I knew I know basketball and we got chef and we got hosed at the end of that game, but I'll save it for another day. So is this year FGCU can maybe make a Sweet 16 because the men made in 2013? Can the women make a Sweet 16?
I do. I honestly believe so. I think that, this team is good. I think we are underseeded. Like we should be we're a better team than a 12 seed. And so I think that we can go up against any 5 or 4 seed regardless and win. So I do think this is the year that FGCU will go to the Sweet 16.
It'd be something. I mean, be something to play. Who's the one seeing that in this?
Stanford.
Be something to play Stanford and Spokane next weekend.
Yes, Stanford.
Play a living legend and play against a living legends team in Tara Vanderby. I'm thinking how many wins would be in that game? That'd be a few hundred, it'd be what,
A lot.
15, 1,600 wins?
It would be a lot. It would be a lot of wins. I don't even know how many.
I think Smesko's over 600. I don't know how many Tara's got, but anyway, it's going to be fun seeing this team playing March Madness. I can't wait to see what TK and Kirsten Bell do, because if you haven't heard of them in America, you're going to hear about them on Friday afternoon.
Yes, they're going to do big things.
So thanks for hopping on, DyTiesha. We wish you well in your studies, and go Eagles and ring in threes.
Yes, go Eagles.